Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something, well, a bit mind-bending, honestly.
hmm
What if the absolute best strategy, the smartest way to get real lasting influence, involves deliberately choosing to kind of go low, to serve?
That's exactly it. That's the heart of the material we've been digging into for you today. This whole concept of servanthood as strategic influence, leading low to ultimately rise high.
Okay.
And our goal here is really to unpack uh, this very countercultural idea of authority. It's rooted in humility, in service, and it stands in really stark contrast to the leadership models we usually see.
And it feels urgent, doesn't it? Because the sources we looked at point out this growing divide
Totally.
between people who just have the fancy titles, the high position leaders, and those who actually make a difference, the high impact leaders. That gap seems to be getting wider.
It is. And the
Hmm.
sources suggest it's because those old command and control ways, they're just crumbling. Trust is eroding everywhere.
Right.
And, teams today, people expect authenticity. They expect connection, especially when things feel unstable. Relying just on your job title, it's proving to be pretty ineffective.
So we desperately need a different way, a new model, not based on dominating people, but on, what did the sources call it? Stewarding power through service.
Exactly. Stewarding power. And the foundational story for this, the sort of master blueprint they point to, is that moment in John 13.
The washing of the feet.
Right, where Jesus washes his disciples' feet. Now, a lot of people might see that as, I don't know, symbolic niceness or
Yeah,
something.
get soft, maybe.
But the sources frame it completely differently. They see it as strategic influence in its purest form.
Strategic. Okay, unpack that, because
Mm,
the context is key, isn't it?
Absolutely critical. The text makes it super clear. Jesus does this fully aware of his divine authority. It says he knew the Father had put all things under his power.
Okay, so he knew how powerful he was at that exact moment.
Precisely. So this act, this lowering of himself, this voluntary humiliation, it flows from immense strength, from a place of total security. It's not an act of weakness or trying to gain something.
That changes everything. He wasn't trying to curry favor. He was demonstrating the nature of his authority.
Yes. And look at what he does physically.
Yeah.
He took off his outer clothing, the text says, and wrapped a towel around his waist.
Which was.
That was the specific uniform, the role of the lowest kind of servant in that household, typically a non-Jewish slave. It was a deliberate physical reversal of the whole power dynamic.
Wow. And Peter's reaction really shows how shocking this was, right? He just couldn't handle it.
Exactly. Peter protests immediately. You shall never wash my feet. It's such a human reaction.
It reveals how deeply we're all wired for that world's ladder way of thinking.
Totally. Peter and the others were like literally just arguing about who was the greatest among them. He just couldn't compute seeing the Messiah, the ultimate power, taking the absolute lowest position. Power for Peter meant hierarchy status being on top.
So Jesus wasn't just teaching humility there. He was completely flipping the script on what real authority looks like. The greatest is the servant.
He overturned the whole human power structure in that one act. And that leads us directly into this clash of paradigms the sources describe.
Right, the world's ladder versus the servant model.
Yeah, and it's not just theory. It has huge strategic implications.
Okay, so let's break down the world's ladder first. The typical model. What are its real-world failings now?
Well, the secular world's ladder model is all about positional authority, right? Dominance. Think the classic CEO image.
Top-down decisions.
Exactly. It relies on command and control. But the problem is influence tied only to a title is incredibly fragile. Leader leaves, influence evaporates.
Mm.
It tends to create environments based on compliance spots. People do things out of fear or just because they have to, not out of genuine commitment. And crucially, it prioritizes output over people. Team members are seen as resources, cogs in the machine.
And that's why we see so much burnout and so little real innovation in those places. If people are just cogs, they'll give you the bare minimum.
Exactly right. You stifle creativity and agility. Now contrast that with the servant model.
Okay.
This model prioritizes things like moral authority, genuine care, even self-sacrifice. Here, serving isn't weakness, it's actually a strategic strength.
So.
Because when you lead by serving, your authority grows differently. People choose to follow you, to commit to the mission, not just comply because of your rank.
That shift sounds powerful, from compliance to commitment. But how does that work in really tough environments? Doesn't leading low make you seem weak, maybe even exploitable, especially if you give up that positional control?
That's a fair question, and a really important one the sources tackle. They argue that, counterintuitively, leading low actually protects you in some ways. It changes the whole basis of authority in the organization.
How? What kind of authority does it build?
They identify three key types that positional power just can't buy. First, there's authority from authenticity.
Okay, authenticity, meaning people trust your motives.
Precisely. They know you're not just in it for yourself. Think about a crisis. A command and control leader asks for sacrifice. The team immediately wonders, what's in it for them?
Right, protecting their own position.
But if a proven servant leader asks for sacrifice, the team trusts it's for the collective good, because they've seen the leader sacrifice personally already. That creates instant credibility. It cuts through politics, speeds things up.
Makes sense. What's the second one?
Authority from empowerment. This is about affirming the value of your people.
How does serving do that?
When a leader serves the team, maybe by clearing roadblocks, fighting for resources, or even taking the heat when something goes wrong, the message is clear. Your work, your dignity matters more than my status or comfort.
That must create a sense of safety.
Exactly. Psychological safety. People feel safe to take risks, to speak up, to innovate because they trust the leader genuinely has their back. That directly fuels creativity and makes the whole organization more adaptable.
Okay, authenticity, empowerment. And the third.
Authority from moral gravitas. This one is maybe the most durable.
Moral gravitas, like the weight of character.
Yeah, it's that quiet influence that comes from a consistent track record of unselfish service. People see it over time. Then, when that leader does need to take a strong stance on something important, maybe a moral issue or a key strategic direction,
Their voice carries more weight.
immense weight. It's not because of their title, it's because of who they are and how they've acted. That kind of gravitas brings a stability that purely hierarchical structures just can't match.
The sources use that tree analogy, which I found really helpful.
Oh yeah, the tree metaphor is great. The roots, that's the leading low part.
Hidden, doing the messy work underground.
Right, unseen but vital, nourishing the whole tree. And it's the strength and depth of those hidden roots that allow the tree to grow tall, that's the rising high, to bear fruit, and crucially, to withstand storms.
Whereas a leader who tries to shoot up quickly without building those deep roots of service.
They're shallow, they look impressive for a while maybe, but the first real storm, the first major crisis, they topple. Their foundation is weak.
Okay, this is compelling, but let's make it really concrete. How does this scandal of the towel actually look day to day? In an office or maybe in a community group? Give us some practical examples people can recognize or even start doing.
Sure. In a business setting, think about a CEO who carves out real protected time, not just lip service to mentor junior employees, not just the exec track people,
Okay.
or leaders who genuinely prioritize the team's well-being and professional growth. They understand that investing in their people isn't just a nice-to-have or a cost. It actually drives long-term value through better retention, more innovation.
It could be simpler things too, right? Like deliberately giving someone else the spotlight in a meeting or taking notes so everyone else can fully engage.
Exactly. Letting a capable team member present the big idea to the higher-ups, making them shine, even if you get less direct credit. That builds trust and intrinsic motivation like almost nothing else.
And people stay. They give their best work because they feel valued, not just used.
Right. Engagement goes up, turnover goes down, problem solving gets faster because people actually collaborate instead of protecting their turf. That's a massive strategic edge.
And outside of business, in community work or nonprofits.
You see it even more clearly sometimes. It's the leader who makes sure the voices of the people actually affected by an issue are the loudest ones in the room instead of speaking for them.
Empowering others.
Or it's the organization that focuses first on meeting tangible needs, building the clinic, providing clean water, starting the school, demonstrating care and action before pushing any other agenda. They earn trust. They earn the right to be heard because they're seen as genuine partners.
This leads perfectly to the practical challenge the sources offer. It's about building a habit, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. It's very actionable. The suggestion is to commit consciously to initiating one tangible act of service per week that elevates someone else without expecting anything back.
And it doesn't have to be huge, right?
No, the sources emphasize it's often the small, consistent things. This regular practice starts to build the habit of servanthood. It literally begins to shift your default perspective away from what's in it for me towards how can I help others succeed.
So it's the unglamorous stuff. Tidying the shared office kitchen, fixing a frustrating process nobody owns, making sure a quiet colleague's contribution gets noticed.
Yes, doing the background work that enables the whole team to function better. that quiet maintenance.
Which brings us to a really critical point, maybe the most important warning in all this.
Ah, yes. The motive.
The difference between doing this authentically and just using service as another tool for manipulation.
This is the absolute core danger. Because outwardly, a genuine servant leader and someone cleverly manipulating situations can look very similar, at least for a while.
So how do you tell the difference? How do you avoid service just becoming strategic self-interest disguised as humility?
Well, if serving others becomes just a tactic, I'll do this nice thing because I know it will get me noticed or lead to a promotion or make people obligated to me, then it's not real servanthood anymore.
You're still climbing that same old world's ladder, just with different gear.
Exactly, you've just camouflaged your ambition. The sources say the true litmus test is the expectation or lack thereof.
Okay.
Authentic servanthood helps others without needing recognition, without expecting a reward, without demanding reciprocation. The spiritual parallel, often cited, is the idea of serving in secret, like in Matthew 6.
Serving in secret. So the real check is internal.
It has to be. Ask yourself, what happens when my act of service goes completely unnoticed? Or worse, what if someone else gets the credit for it?
How do I really feel then?
If you feel resentful, frustrated, bitter, like you've been cheated, then the motive probably wasn't pure service. It was likely manipulation, even if subtly.
So the real rising high, the actual reward the sources talk about, isn't necessarily the promotion or the public praise.
No, not primarily. The true blessing, the deep reward, is intrinsic. It's the satisfaction, the quiet joy, the sense of purpose that comes from genuinely contributing to someone else's good. It builds character, inner peace, things far more valuable than, as the sources put it, the fleeting gratifications of power or prestige.
So wrapping this up, our deep dive really confirms it. Servanthood isn't some soft optional extra. It's a powerful strategic advantage. It builds influence based on respect and loyalty, which just lasts longer than influence based on fear or title.
Yeah.
If you want real enduring authority, the path is clear. You have to choose to lead low.
And maybe the most provocative final thought from the sources is about legacy. What truly lasts? It's not the buildings you built or the profits you made.
It's the people.
It's the people you invested in, inspired, empowered, the ones who, because of your service, become servant leaders themselves. That's the ripple effect. So the question to leave everyone with is this. Looking at your daily work, your decisions, your interactions, how much does it reflect the basin and towel versus the throne and scepter?
Basin and towel versus throne and scepter. Wow.
And maybe ask, which of my current tasks or goals can be reframed?
Yeah.
Is developing this person sitting next to me today actually a bigger, more lasting win than hitting that one specific target this quarter?
That's a powerful challenge to carry into the week. We hope this deep dive gives you a practical blueprint to start that journey towards humble, authentic authority. Maybe it's time to pick up that towel.